I'm going to tell the boys to tell you not to go with you. Yeah, right. That's not happening. Spoiler alert, it happened. Toastmasters, guests, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been broken beyond repair? 5 days ago, 5 days before Thanksgiving, I went to go pick up my sons for Thanksgiving week. I was prepared to have them for the week. I asked a friend of mine if he could give me a lift and pick up my sons. And during that truck trip, I had sent a message to my ex-wife that we will be there at a certain time. And I also let her know a friend of mine who is working as an investigator will be there as my witness. She heard investigator and assumed she was being investigated. What I didn't know is that she had called her boyfriend and he came over and he prevented me from taking my sons. And he was spreading lies, spreading rumors, and he was doing everything he could to keep me from my boys. And he did something that I didn't think he would do. He told them to tell me that they're not going to come with me. And I thought, that's not going to happen because I know my sons love me and I know they want to come with me. This is why I went. And it wasn't until my oldest son looks me in the eye and tells me, I don't want to go with you. That's when I was broken. That's when I felt I was in pieces. I went back home. And I started thinking about it. And during that time, it was actually November 22nd, and I was going to be going to a Toastmasters Thanksgiving celebration, which we had with this club. And I decided to do something that I hadn't done in years. And I had promised myself I would never do it again. I decided to start drinking. My father was an alcoholic. He was my example of why not to drink. And I had drunk when I was a teenager, and I said, I'm not going to do that. But at this moment, I felt like that didn't matter. I was broken. I was in pieces. Thankfully, I was surrounded by friends who made sure I didn't go crazy. One of them is Luisa Montalvo, and she makes sure to bring it up so I don't do it again, and I thank her for that. And I started thinking about what can I do to start the repairing process. Well, it really wasn't something that I could do. It was something I needed to trust my God and let him in. And that's when he started what I call the Kintsugi process. Kintsugi is an art of taking broken porcelain vases, bowls, and it's in Japan, and you restore it with gold and an epoxy, and you fill in the cracks, and instead of it being a thing that's a broken mess, it is now a work of art. It has value, and it's usable again. I'm in the Kintsugi process. And because of what happened, I am making sure that it doesn't happen again. One of the accusations is that my apartment is a mess. Fair, it is. What am I going to do? Well, I'm cleaning. I'm doing deep cleaning. So I'm making sure that can't be an excuse anymore. One of the other accusations, which is a false accusation, is that, and this was just thrown out as something that's supposed to shock my friend, because the boyfriend of my ex-wife is talking to him and telling him all these things about me, that I beat the kids. Okay, I know that's not true, and I know that didn't come from them. What we'll be doing from now on is I'll take a picture before and after. So that can't be used against me. This is a tough process because there's a lot of things that I can't go into, a lot of legal things, but I know I can do it because I have my God and I have my friends who are preparing me to go through this process of rebuilding my life. And this past Sunday morning, I went to the altar and I just poured out to God, and that's when I felt that God's hand was on me, telling me things are going to get better. So what do you do when you're broken? There's many things. You can do what I did and just go off the rails and start drinking, which I don't recommend. You can turn to God or turn to your faith. You can turn to your friends. But there is a process. Whatever process that is there for you, that's what you can turn to. So I'm currently going through this Kintsugi process. And I'm not done. I don't know when it'll be completed, but one day I can stand up and say, this is why I went through this. And you can go through this too. It's not that bad. Thank you.